Live from the Talladega Superspeedway. Welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where tonight the L-TAC All-Street Media Cup Series gets set to return as we get set to go point track racing here in Southern Alabama. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Nolan Rample, bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from start to finish of what is bound to be a very thrilling 9th race here on Talladega, Alabama. 2.6 miles is the distance around this racetrack for 75 laps of racing action. It is bound to be an intense race for all here tonight, and it is bound to be an absolute thriller. You think back to the Mullet Toss 200 to kick off the season just back at Daytona a little while ago, and it is looking like it is going to be one more barn burner here tonight at this racetrack down in the South. We take a rundown of what your point situation looks like entering the racing action tonight. Holden McGill on the top by a good 16 points ahead of Ryan Dingler. Spencer Ray brings it home in third. Bear Morton is fifth. Austin Gassione now leading the charge for Eastern Stars Motorsports in that number 5 spot. Joseph was looking like a driver that might be one to contend for the title early on. However, after it was determined that there are numerous instances detrimental to the league, he has been given an indefinite leave. So the driver of the number 20 machine for Eastern Stars Motorsports and Ryco Performance is going to be down and out of the racing action. And we can expect to see that number 20 car tumble down the championship standings over the next little while. But for now, McGill, Dingler, and Ray hold a Badger Racing 1, 2, 3 at the top of the points board, and it is bound to be, no doubt, a race where we'll be seeing a lot of teamwork taking place, and I'm expecting to see them at the top of their game. They have long been one of the more dominant teams here in the L-TAC All-Street Media Cup Series, as well as others like the OMSRL Xfinity Series, expecting no different here tonight. That said, with Eastern Stars Motorsports, with drivers like Mark Brannigan Jr., Tyler Greneau, and Austin Gassione, that were able to control the race in spades at Daytona. So we'll see if it'll be one of them that might potentially be looking to take home that title here tonight. So with all of that said and done, you do have qualifying currently underway out on the racetrack, and so we will get the chance here to take a look on how everything's running at the moment. And in fact, let's check in with one of the Eastern Stars Motorsports crew, Austin Gassione. He currently works his way around the racetrack, looking to the high side there of turn numbers 3 and 4, as the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet Camaro will work his way up and around the racetrack. Currently 9 drivers have put down times out of the 20-plus scheduled to start the race today. Musati goes 7th place on the board, and Austin Gassione, at the end of his second lap, will put himself up into the number 7 spot as well with a 53.834. That's looking like it's actually it for now, as a few drivers like Justin Wilson have just come across the line to close out their qualifying efforts, but only 12 out of the about 24 or so, give or take, have opted to put down times. There are a few drivers that are looking to see if maybe they'll be coming on out to the racetrack. We're looking at Rincon at the moment, currently sits way down the points sheet, as Spencer Ray will, in fact, put himself third quick on the boards in his Busch Light Camaro with a 53.287. Not a bad time there for Spencer Ray. Connor LaFrance will go fourth quick. So, and with all of that put in mind, let's take a quick moment to shout out All-Street Media, the title sponsor for the L-TAC All-Street Media Cup Series. All-Street Media is a small media platform specializing in photography and live streaming, mainly focused around no-prep drag racing, and soon will be expanded to dirt racing, NASCAR, superbike racing, and more. Their mission is to provide smaller racing venues with the opportunity for public exposure and to help keep small-town racing circuits and also small-town drivers doing the things that they love. You can find out more by visiting them on their Facebook page. Link to that can be found down in the description. The number of drivers tonight will see this no doubt be an entertaining race. Our stage lap will be at lap 37, where the top 10 will find themselves with some extra bonus points leaving tonight. And out of the 25 drivers that are starting the race tonight, your lucky draw number will be the driver starting down in 14th place. That said, qualifying is wrapped on up. So let's take a rundown here of what your starting grid is going to look like as we get set to duke it out for 75 laps of racing action here this afternoon. Starting then on the pole, it is going to be the likes of Holden McGill with Matt Cherry beside him to lock out a Badger Racing front row. Spencer Ray and Anthony Musani bring it up for a Badger Racing row 2 as well. Connor LaFrance is down in 5th. Series rookie Spencer Best going to be down in the number 6 spot. Frank Flores sits in 7th with Austin Gassione in 8th. Top 10 is rounded out by Josh McDougall and Devin Purog. Moved down to the field, you had, of course, the likes of Sean Deal and Justin Wilson. Scott Lamb and lucky draw driver Kyle Green will be down in the number 14 spot. Brian Hunt, the junior, Graham Peterson are under row number 8. Row 9 holds Ryan Dingler and Josh Small. Steph Purcell and George Rincon going to be down to round out the top 20. Nate Brooker, Bear Morton, Aaron Bradford, Chris Campbell, and Nathan Christensen will round out a 25-car field here tonight. As it is looking like it could very well be an intense race for all drivers involved. You got a lot of folks here that are going to be trying to get themselves sorted with some good momentum here throughout the course of the evening, as we're just waiting on a handful of drivers, most notably Christensen and Gassione, to grid on up before we can properly get this show underway. But boy, oh boy, it is going to be a race indeed, and 75 laps. It's no small feat around a racetrack like this, and you know that these guys are going to be putting in all the work to make sure that they can put on the best possible show, as well as put in a good performance for their teams, and no doubt the points here tonight. Heading out will be the likes of Holden McGill. Nathan Christensen not able to make it to the call, so we rumble out. Anthony Bussati having trouble getting his number 49 car fired, and he will now roll off as we get set to drive things out, and it's going to be a fun race. We'll work our way through 1 and 2 on a one and only pace lap. Field is working its way through turn numbers 3 and 4 for the final time, as we'll be working our way back and around towards that tri-oval. Even after the pace car pulls down, it is a long, long trip before we'll be seeing that green flag drop. We took that 1 week break for Thanksgiving. Well, it is time to return and to get ourselves with some belts strapped tight, some helmets buckled on, as we will work our way down and around into the tri-oval. Once again, we are happy that you're joining us here on this absolutely spectacular Friday night, as Holden McGill leads the pack of 24 into the restart zone. It's time to get the party started. Green flags up in the air. We're racing here at Talladega. In trouble already, a big crash, middle of the pack, as a lot of cars are sent scrambling. Devin Purog is down and into the infield grass, and he's not the only one. Kyle Green, the lucky draw driver, looks like he may be down and out of the fight early on. Sean Deal's car all scraped up. Grant Peterson just behind him. Looks like the driver of the number 52 car might have a little bit of damage here as well in his High Rock Vodka Toyota Camry. That is an ugly way to kick off racing action here tonight, and we will no doubt look back and we'll try to see what the heck just happened here. Coming down that front stretch and in towards turn number 1. It was middle of the pack, it looked like. You saw some of the field scrambling to try to catch up just from behind, and oh, looks like Purog got into it with Sean Deal. They spun around up into the middle of the pack. Kyle Green got kicked up airborne. Not quite as bad as I thought. Graham Peterson looks like he may very well have escaped the most of that damage. But not ideal for drivers like Kyle Green. Will ride on board with the driver of that number 18 that finds himself out of the race early on. just nowhere to go. And tell you what, that 0-2 car did a fine job on getting around that. And whoa, boy, Stefan Purcell having to pedal his car in order to get around that. You're right on board with the 57 car. Just got nicked by Purog. Used the banking, though, effectively to save that machine. Not an ideal way, then, to kick off the action here tonight as, boy, that's not very pleasant to have happen to you. And it looks like Purog just tried to clear a hole between Sean Deal and Josh McDougall. Turned himself on the 44's nose, and that 18 car caught some big airtime, and Purog spun down. There you saw Purcell getting clipped. Tell you what, Purcell did a good job to wrangle that car back underneath him. But a good chunk of drivers down and into pit road early on. Brian Huntley Jr., Grant Peterson, Ryan Dingler, and more all into the lane for service as the caution flag is out on just lap number 1. Caution is out for the first time today. I have not even made it around turn 2 before we get to our first yellow flag. We'll be back in just a moment. You're watching the L-TAC All-Stream Media Cup Series on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Lights out. We are 1 to green as we'll be getting set to go back to Green Flag Racing this time by Holden McGill. Still holds the race lead as he did when we first took that green flag some 3 laps ago. And of course, we came to that first caution after Devin Purog tried to close himself off between Josh McDougall and Sean Deal, spinning them all into the outside wall. Kyle Green is back out and on the racetrack, albeit now 2 laps down. Here's catch up the tail end of the field. It's a long race, though. A lot of chances for Kyle Green to get himself back up and into the running order. Race is not over yet for that number 18 Toyota Camry, as he'll be looking to try to get himself sorted and potentially get himself back up into the running order. It's not over yet for our lucky draw driver. Nathan Christensen remains the lone car to have not started this race, so we're down to just 24. Looks like in the running order as the Canadian unable to make it to the call in his 9-9 Chevrolet. Matt Cherry doing some warming of the tires up there on the high side of the racetrack. It will be in the hands of Holden McGill, who would take us around into the tri-oval off of turn numbers 3 and 4. Pace car pulls down and in. All cars otherwise still in the running. Nobody eliminated just yet. The field starts to slowly but surely stack up. We'll take attempt number 2 at our proceedings here today as we will enter the restart zone. Green flags underway. Take 2 at going back to green. Holden McGill will lead our first lap officially to green this time by. Spencer Ray falls a line behind him. Austin Gassione, make that Connor LaFrance will pick up the number 3 spot. Anthony Mussiotti bailing out early from this field. Believe that would be to all those technical problems that you see with him as he's going to drop to the tail end of this field. LaFrance not sticking around for long. He's going to jump to the high side, links up with Matt Cherry as he's going to try to push that 7 car to the point. Just behind him, Spencer Best in that number 19 Toyota trying to make some ground as well. As LaFrance will make that early push to the top side of the racetrack in 3 and 4. Oh, and already bobbled up and out of the way as Spencer Best not willing to work with him. Connor LaFrance gathers it up, and that will discombobulate the whole field, but it looks like somehow LaFrance will maintain his charge at the head portion of this field. So that's some great heads-up driving there from everybody. We'll see if we can't jump back, and we'll get a look on what went down there approaching the start-finish stretch. As, boy, that got hairy for a hot minute. Take a look from above. And Cherry's going to give a bad bump there to LaFrance. They all bobble, and that's some great driving from Connor LaFrance to keep that 7 car planted underneath him. So he now leads the way through turn numbers 3 and 4 to the front straightaway once again on lap number 7 to 75. Matt Cherry not going to see that stand for long as he'll sweep to the top side, courtesy of Austin Gassione to try to go to the point. Gassione not able to link up with that 84 car, and that's courtesy of that big wall of draft. We're hearing a lot of drivers complaining about that in the practice session, and no doubt we'll be seeing that taking place as well. Justin Wilson in his DuPont Camaro in the meanwhile, 3 wide with no help, caught in that proverbial sucker hole, as we like to call it. He's got Rincon and Bradford on the top, and he's got Purog and McDougall down to the bottom, and it looks like Scott Lamp will be jumping down to join him as well. As we will steadily march through and through, Sean Deal will go to help Justin Wilson in that middle line. Matt Cherry, meanwhile, looking like he will clear for the race lead this time by working through the trial. So far, apart from that opening lap, we've been having a fairly clean outing, all things considered, here from Talladega. Although we'll have stayed in that way for long, there's a lot of room to make moves, a lot more room than tracks like Daytona at the top of the season. And we saw a good handful of wrecks at Daytona, courtesy moves that just weren't able to make happen. Will it be the same, I wonder? Justin Wilson jumps down to the low side, abandons Sean Deal. Wilson trying to go for the lead from the bottom. He's being pushed now by Holden McGill, Matt Cherry, and Austin Gassione. We'll be working with him along that middle groove. Oh, now Bradford into the wall just behind, so heads up. Oh, trouble, and into the outside wall big time. That is the big one coming down on the front straightaway, and that is Josh Small, Aaron Bradford, Ryan Dingler, Frank Flores, Stephen Purcell. Looks like Purcell may have just avoided that, but at least 6 cars collected in a big crash on the front straightaway. Matt Cherry leads the way. Let's take a look back and see what happened. This is working through the trioval. Bradford finds the wall. They were 4 wide. He got hooked by Scott Lamp down in the Ryan Dingler, who collected Frank Flores. Josh McDougall spun to the bottom. Hard shots to the outside wall for Flores, as well as Bradford. Anthony Musati got a pretty big piece of that, and all the while Josh McDougall spun, and looks like he managed to keep it out of the inside wall. At real speed. And that is as quick as it happens. Multi-car pileup on the front straightaway. It's a tough break for a few drivers in this field. We'll take a ride on board with McDougall. See what the driver of that number 45 car saw throughout all of this. Look at that. That is some fine driving right there. Kept his cool, kept composure, and was able to keep that one all sorted. On board with Flores. Just never saw it coming. That is a tough break all around, and let's get a view from the air working to the front straightaway as this all fell apart in that trioval. Watch Bradford up on the top side, just gets up into the wall, unforced error, and then Lamp tried to get around, didn't quite go the way he thought it would. That's all there is to say about that one. Leaders are on pit road, as is pretty much most of the field at the moment, as we are under our second caution at lap 11. Cherry first in, he'll be the first out, looking like fuel only. The strategy all throughout this field, same for Justin Wilson, opting to only take a 2-tire stop. Sorry, a 4-tire stop for Justin Wilson, the only driver to do so. Looks like Brian Huntley Jr. Opting for 2 tires. That is a bold strategy, to put it mildly, and I'm curious to see how this is going to pan out for both Brian Huntley Jr. and Justin Wilson as they're taking tires. And again, the only 2 drivers to do so. Everybody else opting for fuel only so far. Spencer Best, meanwhile, not opting to take any kind of pit stop as he finds himself still out there and on the racetrack. That's an interesting call to see from him. And now let's see if we can't take a rundown. You know what? Let's see if we can't actually dial up the driver of that number 19 car, the one that currently finds himself now leading the race after being the lone driver not to take pit stops. Spencer, this is Noel Ramble up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do, sir. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, and I mean, you're not doing so bad either, considering it's your first L-TAC Cup Series start. But talk to the pit call here. You're the only driver that has stayed out on the racetrack so far.
Well, I actually meant to go down pit road and take fuel, but I accidentally ended up, not taking. So, we'll see how it pans out here since pit road is now closed, and hopefully I'll be able to make some out of this, and having a fun time already.
What's going to be the game plan here for these last 25 or so laps before we get down to that stage at lap 37?
Just kind of hoping for another caution. I mean, we already got 2 already, so so just hoping that maybe we'll get another one here after a couple laps, lead a couple laps, get some experience out up front. So, yep, that's about all I got.
All right, well, we'll let you get back down to work. Good luck out there, Spencer. Good luck on the restart.
All right, thank you, sir.
Spencer Best joining us up here in the broadcast booth, making his first ever L-TAC All-Street Media Cup Series start. He will be lining it up inside as the race leader with 1 lap to go before we get back to green flag racing. Top 5 at the moment, or we'll go for the top 3 rows. Looking to be Spencer Best, then Grant Peterson, Cherry and Gassione, and then LaFrance and McGill. Currently, Grant Peterson has the most spots gained out of anybody. He is plus 14 on the afternoon, although, again, only 13 laps in. I don't think that means a whole lot as of yet. Grant Peterson, the other driver that did not pit under this caution flag, by the way, he pitted on lap 2 when we got that turn 1, lap 1 caution. And like others, he was in for only fuel. So he and Spencer Best, a bit off cycle right now on the fuel strategy. So we'll see what their game plan is going to be, but we know for a fact they're going to have to pit several laps sooner than everybody else in this field. That could play critical when we get around to this stage, not the stage break, but the stage lap coming on up at lap 37. This is part of what Kyle Green was hoping for. This has allowed him to get 1 of his laps back, so he is now only 1 lap down and stands as the lucky dog driver if he can keep it out of whatever our next caution may or quite possibly will be. Pace car pulls down into pit road. We're ready to go back to green flag racing. Ryan Dingler is down and out of the race and looking like he'll be our first retirement of the afternoon. He's taking his number 8 car behind the wall. Green flag's in the air. We're back to racing. Spencer Best continuing to try to drive through this field as he is going to be alongside Grant Peterson on the exit of turn 2. Caution is out again. And where is this one taking place? As that was, I don't even know what the heck happened here, as we've got nobody spun around. Everybody made it off at the corner just fine. We have a phantom yellow on the race cars. Interesting enough. Still looking around. I can't find anything. We'll take a look from the air and we'll see if we can dissect. We'll look for somebody further down the pack. Maybe somebody else back here potentially saw something that we couldn't see from up front. From the air, working down into 1 and 2 at real speed, and you can see the whole field just about in shot. And oh, right there, Musati's having some problems. He's trying to go 3 wide up the middle. And right about here, the caution comes out. I don't know. I am stumped on that one. Okay, caution flag is out for the 3rd time tonight, and we have no idea what for. It's not unusual that, well, it's been unusual that something like this happens, but it's an interesting call as we find ourselves in the caution flight number 3. We'll take a step back and watch the L-TAC All-Street Media Cup Series on Green Flag TV. Lights are out. We are back to 1 lap to green. Now, we have found out what the cause was for the caution, and it wasn't for the on-track incident. Turns out, as sometimes happens on the rare occasion, one of the series administrators got a little trigger happy with that yellow flag button, as it turns out. So that is why we are on this caution flag here, and why we are coming to the conclusion of what is now our 3rd yellow flag of the afternoon. The good news is we're exactly very far into a green flag run that time by, so it won't have any impact, but we'll get set to get back rolling over here as we'll set out from Talladega. We're going to be working off of turn number 4 this time by Spencer Best. Still has the lead. Graham Peterson down to that number 2 spot. And Matt Cherry Ozagacion will be the 2 main pushers as we'll get sent to work it out of turn numbers 3 and 4 and into the tri-oval. Spencer Best is your control car, and so far it's been going his way. He's led, I believe, just about the most laps out of anybody in the last little while so far. Not that we've had too many green flag laps to run, as we'll be back to green flag racing, the 19 cars off and away. Peterson and Gassion will look to push to the front as Best is trying to work it down to that inside line. Holden McGill, 3rd car line on the top, trying to make a run for that 3rd position as well. Matt Cherry still pushing Spencer Best down from the bottom as Grant Peterson is working to the top. And they'll still be dead even as you work out of turn number 4 into the tri-oval. Justin Wilson having a bit of a moment as he is bobbling down onto the bottom of the racetrack, straddled that yellow line, and he's going to tuck back up in line, although he has lost a good handful of positions. So it looks like the Dublin Camaro might be down and almost effectively out of this race now. Bear Morton tucks in line just in front of him. Well, the battle remains up front for the lead, side by side between Grant Peterson and Spencer Best, and this is this is the norm of the day as Grant Peterson will ditch he'll ditch Ozagacion on the top side. Hop down to the bottom. Gassion and McGill still working together on that outside line. We do quick to jump down low from that 3rd spot on the top. Down to 45, number 45 Camry's going to try to go to the lead. Outside, though, frequently the place where you want to end up being if you're in a big pack like this. That's Holden McGill showing no yielding from that top. He is really leaning on the Gassion's bumper to try to get that 5-car moving. Looks like Best and McDougall there are getting a bit disorganized on the low side. That will allow for Peterson and Gassion to try to pull around the top in 1 and 2 to go to the point. Holden McGill still running in 3rd. And there is a whole host of drivers at the moment that are trying to make moves, and all of them seem to be coming from the top as that inside line cannot get formed up. Nate Brooker and Sean Deal will both jump down low, and they'll track out of turn numbers 3 and 4 and across the tri-oval. Not that they're going to be able to mount much of a charge from that bottom lane either, as Grant Peterson continues to be the one leading that main charge on the top side. Holden McGill will quickly duck low. Austin Gassion and Grant Peterson going with him as Matt Cherry will jump to the top now. Now some deeper in the field. Boy, two lines, and both are snaking around just as much as the other. How about Connor LaFrance setting up a charge with Matt Cherry as they're both trying to work that very high lane right by the wall. Baron Morton sees what they're doing. He's going to try to go with. Matt Cherry gets into the wall and will back out. And that will stall the momentum of the third lane as Morton and LaFrance both try to make something happen. Of course, Baron Morton took that number 9 card to its first L-TAC Ulster Media Cup Series win ever last week at the 2 weeks ago, at the Kansas Speedway. And now looking like it wants to go back to back here in Alabama. Three by 3 wide through the tri-oval. Something you don't often see in Cup competition nowadays. This is often something you see in Xfinity or the Truck Series. Baron Morton, though, pushed to the point by Connor LaFrance. He'll jump down and clear for the race lead. Big question is, though, will he stay there as all these lines are shuffling about? Connor LaFrance will immediately make a jump to the top, and now Morton being abandoned from the low side. Nobody wanted to work with the 9. McGill jumps in the middle to link up with his teammate, Grant Peterson. While Matt Cherry, Connor LaFrance, and Justin Wilson continue to work together on the top. And all of this slowing, allowing for Chris Campbell and Moore to try to close in from behind. Bradford, Small, Huntley, Flores, and Moore are also trying to get in there with them. No problems for Sean Deal for a brief moment. He'll flash back into this plane of existence as we've shortened it down to 2x2x2, and it's a 3-car tandem with McGill, Peterson, and Gassion all working on the low side, but it's a tough battle to mount against LaFrance and Cherry up on the top. Now remember, Matt Cherry also a part of the Badger Racing crew, so he is effectively helping a main contender at the moment of Badger Racing's as he'll work the top side with Connor LaFrance. What you really want to do is what Eastern Stars Motorsports did. You want to get a 1-2 on both lines. That way you are going to be in full control of this race no matter how you look at it. That's exactly how Eastern Stars Motorsports took control of Daytona. They got all of their drivers up to the front, and then from there they would effectively just block off all of the lanes, and nobody could make a run. Nobody could get through. I'm curious if that's a strategy that we might see Badger Racing try to employ here today. Scott Lamb jumps to the inside, give a bit of a tow back to Holden McGill and Moore. Drags that inside line up with them, but they've still got to get around Cherry and LaFrance, who continue to have that big charge off that top side. And that's, again, it's not a charge so easily beaten, and right now it's looking like that's going to be the main winner in battles like these. Good news for Chris Campbell and Moore. It's allowed for this train of cars that's fallen off to start reeling in the gap. They had fallen off by about a second, and now they're right back up and in the fray. It includes Campbell, Bradford, Small, Huntley, Flores, Musati, hanging back, but back to Frank Flores. You got Kyle Green, the lucky dog driver, in the mix here too. Anthony Musati, meanwhile, sits a few seconds back. He has lost the draft. Stephen Purcell, good half a lap back. He is begging for another caution here so he doesn't get swallowed up by this mess of a field. 10 laps to go in stage number 1. As Scott Lamp currently holds that race lead from Grant Peterson, from Gassion. The inside lane has found its momentum again as Holden McGill leading the outside, although stacking that outside lane up something fierce. Looks like Spencer Ray might have something to say about that, and Josh McDougall thinking about going with him, opting against it though, so Ray will be on his lonesome, but he'll be quickly caught by McGill and co. And just as I say that, Matt Cherry jumping down to the bottom of the track, taking LaFrance and Wilson with him, and now Cherry back to the top, so Cherry not working with anybody. He's just out for himself, and that's not something Spencer Ray likes, as Holden McGill will leave that number 84 car trapped in the sucker hole. And so the battle rages on. Scott Lamp working his way into that race lead. Oh boy, bit of a bump there from Grant Peterson, unsettling that 0-2 pay-to-win setup shot machine. Able to keep that car rolling forward as we are quickly approaching the halfway mark of this race. By far on our longest green flag run so far, all race long. Cherry giving a pretty big bump there to Bear Morton mid-corner. That's always a huge risk in these cars with their more rounded noses. Oh, and it's going to hook Morton to the inside. Hang on as Cherry pedals at the top. And somehow we escape disaster. But that has annihilated Matt Cherry's momentum. Oh boy, well that got a bit hectic there for a little while. Take a look at this one from the air as, we'll get a look at this one here. This is working out of turn number 2. And this is again out of that second corner, working to the back straightaway as Matt Cherry just leaning a bit too much on Bear Morton. Just talking about how you can't push in the corners, and sure enough, right there they hook. And Justin Bowles can thank his lucky stars that Morton didn't come down any further than that. Oh boy, McDougall gonna hook Gassion right into turn number 3, and the caution is out. McDougall gets drilled by Nate Brooker. Devin Purog will slide to the bottom with the number 5, and that looked to me like McDougall just putting his nose somewhere where it didn't belong. Caution is out for the 4th time today. Take a look. Entering turn number 3, and yeah, McDougall just went to the inside, had a run, went to the bottom of Gassion, and spun the 5 around, hooked up with the 36. Right there was the big hit from Nate Brooker, and that sent them both sliding to the bottom. We'll take a look back. This will be entering turn number 3. And we'll watch this off of 2. Watch McDougall is going to get this run down the back stretch here. He's already looking for that inside. He sees the main lane pushing off of that yellow line a bit from that bottom, and he wants to move. He wants to get to the inside. He sees an opportunity. He goes for it. Hole closes, and around goes Gassion, takes Devin Purog and Nate Brooker with him, and that is a heavy shot for Brooker's car in particular. That is not at all pleasant. We'll take a ride on board with Brooker. Oh, you could tell he thought they were going back up the racetrack, and they didn't go out nearly as far as he thought they would, and he tried to anticipate, and it didn't quite work. Leaders are in the pit road. Scott Lamp led them in, and we'll see if he'll be the one to lead them out as well, as Holden McGill is currently up on the jacks, and this time it's looking like tires are a more viable call all around. Looking like Baron Morton, though, opting to take fuel only. Spencer Ray taking 2, so Ray is going to be out onto the racetrack. I believe he only took 2 left side tires, as he and Baron Morton are out on fuel only strategies. Everybody else taking tires. It's again a bold call, but it's a call that has been made nonetheless, and we'll see how this field will respond. Grant Peterson and Justin Wilson continuing to stay out. They are at the moment gunning for stage points, and that's why we see them out on the racetrack, as we've only got, what, 4 laps to go, excuse me, left in stage number 1 this time by the line. We'll have ourselves about a 3-lap dash once this thing goes green. Cautious out once again. We'll jump back, and we'll return with the restart from the Talladega Superspeedway. Coming to the conclusion of our 4th yellow flag, and just another lap or so here, as the lights will be out this time by, as we'll go 1 lap to green, and there will be a 2-lap dash to close out our opening stage here of the afternoon. Of course, we will not be having a break for that stage. We'll be driving this one straight through to the close. So we'll see if we'll maybe get ourselves a longer green flag run in once we've managed to get ourselves past this opening stage, and we can calm it down for the last the last just shy of 40 laps. We'll take one more time to thank Allstream Media, the title sponsor for the L-TAC Cup Series here in their 5th season of competition. Allstream Media is a small media platform specializing in photography and live streaming. They're mainly focused around no prep drag racing and will soon expand to dirt racing, NASCAR, superbike racing, and more. Their mission is to provide smaller racing venues with the opportunity for public exposure and to help keep small-town racing circuits and small-time drivers doing the things they love. Find out more, you can visit them on their Facebook page. Link to that is going to be down in the description of this live stream. Grant Peterson leads the way, Justin Wilson beside him. They have not pitted under this latest caution. A few drivers have come down for a second run of pit stops to top up on fuel. Those drivers include Brian Huntley Jr., Austin Gassione, Sean Deal, Anthony Musatti, Stefan Purcell, and Kyle Green. Kyle Green, by the way, back on the lead lap. He got the lucky dog free pass and is back onto the lead lap as a result of that one. Nate Brooker, he's now 1 lap down. He is the first driver with a lucky dog now to take place, and still Ryan Dingler, the only driver that is retired from this race, and that was on lap number 10. 40 laps to go this time by, but only 2 in stage number 1 as the pace car pulls down and in this time by. And it will be in the hands of Grant Peterson, working into the tri-oval. The number 52 car jumps on the loud pedal. We're back to green. Peterson and Ray clear for the lead. They immediately link up, and we've got trouble as Justin Wilson has been turned. Buron goes around with him. Sean Deal gets collected. Kyle Green spins it out up the track. And that will bring us to a close of our first stage. Grant Peterson will, in theory, be the winner, providing he stays out on the racetrack. Boy, it has not been these guys' night so far tonight. We'll again jump back and we'll see what happened here. I'm willing to bet, though, this is just one driver trying to clear himself. McGill has a run. He goes down low. He clears Cherry. Wilson does not. Spin Wilson around. The DuPont Camaro slides up. He gets tagged by McDougall. Spins right up the track, and I believe he is nailed again by Flores. There you see Purog already spawned down on the bottom in progress, and right here comes Sean Deal, and looking like potentially Spencer Best. Well, not quite Best, but one of those drivers ended up getting a piece of that mess as well. We'll jump back, and we'll see what happens to Devin Purog in particular. He was a bit further back in this. This will be a real speed. There you see Wilson turned up the road. Oh, Purog ran to the Bradford, and he got accordion by Nate Brooker, and that spun him around. It was the 69 of Brian Huntley Jr. that had a near miss. We'll ride on board with Huntley. He's going to see all this developing up the road. And just able to get around that. Good heads-up awareness from Brian Huntley Jr. to escape that wreck. I wish I could say the same about others. And it is now, was that number 6 already we're at? That's number 5. So that was caution number 5. Josh McDougall, Connor LaFrance, Chris Campbell, and George Rincon will all give up stage points as they'll hit pit road. This will leave Grant Peterson to come home. He will be your stage 1 winner. Spencer Ray will be in 2nd. Bear Morton 3rd. McGill 4th. Holden, Matt Cherry in 5th. Scott Lamb was in 6th. And it's going to be a race out of pit road to see who gets the remaining spots here. As we're still up for points on the stage. Connor LaFrance takes 8th. Looks like it'll be Rincon in 9th. And Austin Gassione rounds out the top 10. So there are your stage points. Part of them decided through pit stops. That's a bit unusual. We don't see that all that often. And all of that leaves Grant Peterson with that win at the end of stage number 1. Let's see if we can't get in touch with your stage 1 winner. It's not often that we get to speak to the guy that wins any one of these stages. Usually they're all under green by the time they win that stage, but not the case for Grant Peterson, who takes that stage 1 win. Grant, this is Noel Ramble up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, it's, I'd imagine, probably not an ideal way to take that stage 1 win, but hey, a stage win is still 10 extra bonus points, so you'll take that any day of the week, I'm sure.
Take them any way you can get them. It was some rough fighting, rough seas out there trying to get it, though, but managed to pull it off.
Kind of talk us through those rough seas, because it certainly seems like it's been an all give and no, it's been an all take and no give show out there tonight.
Had 2 wrecks, one right on the start of the race, and then one somewhere midway between where we are now and start. They're right in front of me, parking right in front of me, so that was a bit of a pucker moment trying to get through there, and then, you know, just regular Dega racing kind of makes it a little more sketchier, just trying to get around, moving up through the pack and doing your thing.
Well, now that we are into the second half of this race and stage 1 is behind us, are we going to be seeing this calm down at all, or is it only going to rise from here to the end?
We'll probably get a couple 10 laps of calmness, but I think it'll be all out once we get past those 10 laps for sure.
Well, we'll let you get back down to work. Congratulations on the stage 1 win. We'll see if you can follow it up with a race win at the end of the night.
All right, thank you.
It's Grant Peterson joining us up from the Badger Racing Camp, your stage 1 winner at the end of the night, as he is going to be starting this race off once again in our second half in the race lead. Spencer Ray will be alongside him. Choppy seas, as he put it. I think that is a little bit of an understatement, considering how everything has gone down tonight. So the driver with the second most spots gained, he's up 15. Bear Morton is up the most. He is up 19. Your lucky draw driver, Kyle Green, got collected there. He spun himself out trying to avoid. He runs right now back at the 16th position. But on the lead lap, that's the crucial thing right here, right? He is on the lead lap, and that means he has a much better shot on getting himself with the race win. And now, thanks to this yellow flag, all of our racers are back onto the lead lap. Save for Ryan Dingler, again, the lone driver down and out of the fight. It's been a rocky race so far. We're hoping we'll be entering smoother waters here, though, as we'll be working our way into the second half of our race in action tonight. Pace car will be down and in, this time by and that will leave it in the hands now of Grant Peterson in that High Rock Toyota Camry. Takes us to the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Entering the tri-oval, Spencer Ray has taken up the lead on this latest restart. Holden McGill looking to the bottom, and the 21 car will retake that lead. LaFrance tries to jump down, but Rincon is there, and Rincon just able to force that 15 car into the hole. LaFrance will bobble back up in between Spencer Ray and Austin Gassion. The 69 of Brian Huntley Jr. tucks up behind that 15 car as we get ourselves fully back up to speed. Whoa, boy! If Grant Peterson, the stage 1 win, just about having it coming together on the backstretch there. Look at that may have been with Spencer Best or Josh McDougall, one of the two. As we will dive into turn numbers 3 and 4. The number 1 going to go with him, and Spencer Ray gives a bit of a bumper to the back end of Holden McGill's machine as Rincon and Huntley have escaped to the bottom. So we've had a bit of an exchange in lanes. Now Spencer Ray jumps down low, and can he clear? Just able to find a gap for that Busch Light Camaro. Oh boy, but it's not over yet as he gets a bit of a tippy tap there for that number 15 car. And everybody else working out of turn number 2 to the backstretch. Tough going at the moment. In a battle like this, you're right on board with Holden McGill. Right tucked behind Spencer Ray, trying to push that number 1 car to the point. Spencer Ray, meanwhile, runs in 3rd. And he is trying to keep the likes of McGill and Moore behind, while Huntley and Rincon are running 1-2 with that race lead for the time being down on the bottom. Bit more 3 wide, starting to escalate in the background. Sean Deal and Matt Cherry were among the 2 that just got a bit tied together. Again, though, we're able to survive it for the time being as we will start our way further and further down these backstretch of momentum runs and in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Working well into the second half of this race now, and it looks like finally we might be getting some drivers starting to calm things down. Looks like cooler heads might be starting to prevail. As I say that, the outside lane tends to break apart. Bumping LaFrance and Gassione into that middle groove, trying to find some room. Purcell escapes to the bottom. Spencer Ray and Holden McGill both jump down to the second lane as well. All the while, I mean, we're looking good on pace so far. I mean, these drivers have not been showing any signs of slowing up too bad. So, ooh, as I say that, Purcell scares half the field into the middle line. And now Purcell going to be slipping back as he's caught in the sucker hole. And Cherry, I think, may have just found the wall as well, exiting the tri-oval. Where will Stefan find some room to slip in line? Looks like he'll tuck in along the top between McDougall and Cherry. Oh, he's gone too far up as now they've gone to the middle line. So they really were not wanting to work with Stefan Purcell there, who will continue to slip back. Cherry leading the way from that outside groove down through the start-finish stretch here and in towards that tri-oval, an ever-important place to be. And you got Spencer Ray now in the fray as well. Ray trying to make a charge for the lead. He's being pushed by McGill as Gassione will try to pinch him down low. Right now, ESM is trying to control the battle once again by all that side drag. But look at what it's doing behind as it is dragging everyone back. And now Cherry spins in the middle of the pack, up into traffic. Bradford gets turned as well, hard into the wall. Purcell hard into the wall. Scott Lamp escapes disaster. And Cherry is spun again off the nose of Sean Deal trying to avoid. And that was all caused by side drafting, courtesy of Austin Gassione. Didn't directly cause the wreck, but he dragged them back, and that's what caused the stack up that led to all of that. Ay, ay, ay. The woes continue throughout this field. Let's take a look back on what happened here, working down in towards turn number 1. as this got ugly right here, and this all kicked off with Matt Cherry's number 84 car. You see everybody was already slowing up. He got hit by Rincon right there, clipped McGill. That's what ended up spinning them out then fully. And then back up into traffic. Scott Lamb, I think, got in a bit there. Bradford got tipped by Campbell. Hard hit for Stefan Purcell into 66. Frank Flores got collected with the outside wall. And then right here again, as all of this is developing, Cherry has to cut left to avoid a spinning Purcell. And he gets tagged again and spun around into the inside wall by Sean Deal, who just had nowhere to go in all of that, quite frankly. On board with Sean Deal, had a front row seat of all of this. Bit of a hit there, and then whoops. And remember, all of this again started with the side drafting that Austin Gassion was doing up the road. Now we're going to ride on board. This is with the back end of Gassion here. Watch this as Spencer Ray right there, he cuts down low. Holden McGill tries to go with them. Here's where Gassion starts to side draft, and look at how quickly this is going to drag them all in. Right here, see how he's leaning on that door? Watch the field just run them down. That is all from side drafting. And that's what spins everyone around up into the field. Just not an ideal situation all around for anybody really in that mess. And this is from the air. Watch again the closing rates here. As there's Rincon into Cherry, and it's an accordant effect, and on from there. That is the second take at the big one right there, and oh, Flores got involved a second time. Boy, not the way we were hoping for this race to go, as this is now yet another yellow flag on the afternoon. This time we are up to 6. Daytona had 10, and we've still got almost 30 laps to go. Take a step back. You watch the L-TAC All Street Media Cup Series on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Coming to the conclusion of our now 6th yellow flag on the afternoon, Conor LaFrance and Austin Gassion lead the way for Eastern Stars Motorsports. Once again, 2 of their drivers are proving that they have what it takes to try to get up there and control this race. However, a good chunk of drivers collected as a result of some sign drafting going on. Now, nothing wrong with that, but That's not something that tends to get you on the good side of many drivers here, so we'll see if that'll indeed be the case for these two as they'll be working their way around through turn numbers 3 and 4. We'll have 26 laps to go at the line once we get back to green flag racing. My, oh my, I mean, this race is, it's getting to be one of those races. You're here for the long haul, and I have a feeling a lot of these races, well, a lot of this race, I should say, is going to be filled with some more yellow flag laps. I don't think we're quite done yet, as our Stage 1 winner, Grant Peterson, was saying he thought we would be having some more cautions, and, well, his prediction certainly seems to be ringing true at the moment. And it's two pretty short tracks after this one. North of Wilkesboro followed up by Rockingham as well. So, oh boy, it'll be interesting to see how, how these races are going to pan on out. As we get back to green flag racing, Austin Gassion and Carl LaFrance lead us to the green. LaFrance and Gassion link up pretty early on, and they will continue to rip it around the top side of the racetrack, running tandem, nose to tail at the moment. Oh boy, as Spencer Best just tucks in line in front of Josh McDougall. Devin Pirog will go in with him, and from there, a few drivers starting to scramble in the middle, in the mid-pack here. Scott Lamb, Spencer Ray getting a bit hooked together, and that slows up Spencer Ray enough that he'll have to fall back to the clutches of Chris Campbell. We work it up and around, trouble, back straightaway. Rincon around, collects Brian Huntley Jr. They'll both slide to the bottom. Caution is out with 25 to go. Times like this, it's useful to have that second person to bounce off of. We don't have that here, though, tonight. So we'll find some more ways to kill some time under our now 7th caution flag of the evening. Now, how did this one kick off? That's my big question right now. Let's see if we can look and find out what happened for you. They were already kind of bouncing around a bit, and we'll get a look further back. I think that might give us a bit of a better story here, as this was, it's working the back straightaway, and well, they're already spun sideways there. Caution is already out, so a bit further, please. Now we might get it here. So this is, again, working down that back straightaway, and they're all fine here. They're 3 wide behind. Rincon is a bit of a stack up. Huntley got in deep on the outside and just hooked Rincon into the outside wall, courtesy of the, I think it was being pushed by the 67 there of Josh Small. That's what spun Huntley around and brings us out for our next yellow flag. Again, not entirely ideal, and yeah, it looked like Small was being pushed, maybe even by Matt Cherry. I don't think that was all on Small there. And they will spin down, and Small finds the inside wall. I do believe Huntley managed to avoid the inside wall altogether. Yeah, Small was being pushed by Matt Cherry, so that was just inevitable the way all 4 of them are running. That's just Superspeedway racing, though. That's how it goes sometimes, and that's what sends them all into the inside wall. Well, right on board with Matt Cherry, we'll see what the driver that number 84 saw, as he was right behind this mess. He had a front row seat. Oh, yeah, he pushed Small right into that. Nothing that Small, Rincon, or Huntley could have done. Good thing as well, because you saw they were really starting to get bottled up there further up the road. Next two races coming on up after this one are going to be down into the Carolinas, as North Carolina will see the return of North Wilkesboro Speedway to the L-TAC All Street Media Cup Series. For race number 10 to the halfway mark of the season. And then, of course, we'll close things out for the month of, well, not quite the month of December, but we'll swing to South Carolina to the Rockingham Speedway. There we'll take that 1 week break to Christmas, and we will return at the Brickyard to close out December and, in fact, 2023. Whew, it is a tough race out there so far. We'll talk to another one of these drivers in the midst of this field that's been right in the thick of it all night long. We'll see if we can't get in touch with Nate Brooker himself. Nate, this is Nolan Rebel up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hi.
Well, it's been a tough race so far, but you're up 16 spots, so no doubt you're not complaining. How's it been from your perspective?
I'm just going along right now. I've got damage, so I'm actually trying to hold back, and I'm just finding myself up here. I know I've got to pit one more time, so I don't know how well I'm going to do. I'm going to use my fast repair soon, and hopefully see how I go in the race.
Overall, for that number 3 car, I mean, it's been a solid start overall, but there's still a good 20 laps to go, and, well, we've seen a lot can happen even as much as 5 laps. What's going to be the game plan for that number 3 Toyota Camry?
I've been trying to get my teammates to start pushing 3 wide. You know, we want to get the race going. We want to make it fun. So we know we can get up there if we get into the high line, because that is the fastest bit. But you need at least 3 cars up there. So the plan is to get up there and get fast.
Well, let's go back down to work. Good luck out there when we go racing on the restart here. That's Nate Brooker joining us up here. Currently runs number 5 for the driver out of Maidstone in the UK. Now, he says he wants his team to get this race going. Let's get 3 wide. I would argue 7 cautions deep. I don't think we really need the race to get going, so to speak. I mean, I think the race it's been getting going just fine on its own. At this point, though, I would not be surprised if this race was forced into overtime territory, as we've really been pushing that threshold here of how far we can go in a green flag run. I'm willing to throw money down that this race is going to end up being capped off with a green-white checkered finish. Superspeedway races so often are. They're tricky races to end on just on regulation time, just because of how aggressive everybody gets in the closing stages. I'm curious to see how the Team GGIEL Superspeedway Blitz will do when they swing out to Atlanta, Georgia, to the Atlanta Motor Speedway for round number 3 of their race on Saturday nights. So many questions, so many series, and, well, we'll see what will be the game plan when we roll out of turn numbers 3 and 4. 21 laps to go at the line. Pace car is off. That's Connor LaFrance and Spencer Best will work side by side into the restart zone. Green flag's out. We're back underway. Connor LaFrance leading the way on the back straightaway. Austin Gassion picking up number 2. And, whoa, boy, we've had a few cars shuffling around in the background here. I thought for a moment we were going around, but it looks like they have kept it all sorted. Brooker holding his own despite that damage up at the top side at the moment, coming off of turn number 4 as Spencer Bass trying to go for the lead. Austin Gassion and Connor LaFrance up to the top side. They'll give a bit of a helping hand to that number 5 car. What they're trying to do right now is control both lanes. They're going to be jumping from lane to lane here, top then bottom. They're going to go wherever that momentum run is to try to cut off that run to make sure that they're not going to lose any kind of momentum themselves. These guys know how to control a superspeedway race, so do not be surprised if you see them making all sorts of moves here to try to keep this entire field behind them. It worked out very well for them at Daytona. However, they had 5 cars working with them at Daytona. They've only got 2 of them here. That could prove to be a bit of a challenge, especially if they end up getting separated at some point. And Nate Brooker, not willing to let them breathe as he is riding those back bumpers at the moment, working off of 4. Further in the pack, Spencer Bass leading the way on the inside has dropped all the way back to 7th. Made that now to 8th as he cannot keep that car in a straight line. He's going to drop now all the way back potentially to 10th here. Spencer Ray's pulled alongside him now. And everybody's still keeping it with that middle line. Nobody wanting to jump down low because of how much of a risk it is and how much time could be lost by jumping out of the draft, especially if you don't know you're going to get a good chunk of drivers going with you. It very much is a lot of follow the leader right now. And Matt Cherry being hung out to dry on the top side. Oh boy, we're stacking them up according to Vec down in the turn 3. Just able to gather it up, and Matt Cherry now again finds himself on the outside looking in. Although we're starting to double it up here in the back, so we could be getting ourselves some momentum rolling here pretty soon as we enter the tri-oval. Cherry really squeezing in Ray there for a moment. I thought we'd have some more contact. We're able to keep it steady. Oh, in trouble. Spencer Ray spun around hard into the outside wall. There it is. Caution's out again. Brian Huntley, Matt Cherry, and more collected, and I think that might finally take some more cars out of the race. Boy, that number 1 car just shot sideways, and that looked like it may have just been a bad bump from Huntley. Once again, we will jump back and take a look on what went down to bring us caution flag number 8. And this time it came in very sudden fashion, working through, working right down in towards turn number 1. And Spencer Ray getting the worst of this deal. And it was a bad bump right there. Got unsettled, shoots the number 1 car around, and then slams Cherry and Huntley into the outside wall. Ray then dives down into Campbell. Bradford gets involved. He backs it into the wall. And you see the 52 of Grant Peterson slide. And I saw one more car collect the outside wall further up the road. Boy, that got ugly there. As again, we'll look at the replay, this time from the air at speed. There's the bump. And right there, hooks him around. And looking like Sean Deal. Oh, yeah, Deal has been turned hard into the outside wall. Now, who was behind Sean Deal is my big question right now. Looking like it may have been Frank Flores that turned Sean Deal into the wall. And you got a good view of this incident here. And then Frank Flores just gets on the bumper and, oh, hard hit right into the outside barrier. That is a tough, tough lick. And then, of course, Spencer Ray with the misfortune of being that driver with that bad bump. Putting this under the 8th yellow flag of the afternoon. Oh, that is a hard lick. And then Grant Peterson looks like he may have just spun it all by himself down to the bottom. Caught out on that transition. Caution is out again, a good chunk of the field down and into pit road, and we may be seeing some drivers finally down and out. Looks like Holden McGill. Well, Holden McGill isn't be back out. We'll see if anybody will be down and out, but I'm willing to bet Josh Small may very well be among them as he's been sitting in the pits for a while. He's got a penalty of some sort. Matt Cherry effectively down and out, and more. As a hard crash entering turn number 1. We'll take a step back. We'll be back with a restart with less than 15 to go. 14 laps to go when we take that green flag once more. Ricardo LaFrance and Austin Gassione continue to lead the way as they have right from the get-go of this race. Well, not quite from the get-go, but ever since they're able to get back up to the front together. And they've been running pretty strong so far and expect them to continue to be a big force to contend with as we'll be working our way into these closing laps from race number 9 of the L-TAC All-Street Media Cup Series from the Talladega Superspeedway. Frank Flores and Rincon sit 3 and 4. Stephen Purcell and Nate Brooker at 5 and 6 on row number 3. Still anybody's game. Sean Deal, Matt Cherry are both down and out of this race. Josh Small is 1 lap down. So finally, from the end, we've eliminated more drivers. Up until this point, save for Dingler, everybody has been effectively on the lead lap for the last 40 laps or so. Pace cars off, will go green flag racing once more, this time by green flag is back up and in the air. Gassione with good launch from the top shelf. Rincon trying to go with him. Conor LaFrance working the low side. The whole pack quickly condensing, coming off of turn number 2, working the backstretch. Frank Flores still in the mix as he is pushing LaFrance, trying to get him clear of Gassione. Right now, though, those 2 runners down at the bottom have not been able to necessarily pull clear of the leading pack, although Brooker struggling to link up with Rincon could give them the chance they need, and sure enough it will. LaFrance Gassione will now break clear, and it is going to be a tough challenge now for anybody to overtake the 2 of them. Everybody scrambling around towards the back of the pack, and it is a hornet's nest of cars back here. Stephen Purcell wants nothing to do with it. He bails out to the bottom below the yellow line as he will be passing back towards the back of the field. Meanwhile, Spencer Best trying to push his way 3 wide up the middle of Frank Flores and Justin Wilson. Devin Puro going to go with him. Scott Lamp will push up to try to break up the run. Best trying to go high. Oh, Kyle Green, look out! Just able to avoid disaster as Green had a jam on the binders. And boy, that could have been a huge moment right there coming out of turn numbers 3 and 4 and into the tri-oval. Take a ride on board with Kyle Green. This gets wild. Oh boy, talk about cat-like reflexes to keep that car underneath him. And remember, Kyle Green has spun twice so far in this race. The fact that your lucky draw driver is still in contention is really something. He still has the ability to go for those 3 extra bonus points if he can win this race. There's not a lot of time to get it done, but it's not without the realm of possibility of something, especially if something big goes down at the front of the field. Well, as I say that, Scott Lamb will try to open up the a lane down on the inside, but it's looking like he's not going to do that as he tried to have a look. We were single file at the top 6. That is no longer the case. 10 laps to go at the line, this time by Austin Gassione leading the way from the top. LaFrance in second, Brooker third. Really, when we get within 5 to go, that's where everything gets hectic, especially the further back it gets. That's where everybody starts to get real desperate, trying to make up any kind of spots that they can muster. Looking like more and more that outside or that inside lane just keeps on dropping off. They cannot keep any kind of momentum sorted down there, and I think the main pushes are trying too hard, and it's unsettling their leading drivers, and that is what is causing all of this fallback in the middle lines. That's why we've seen that top group be so dominant throughout the course of the day. It's always that inside lane is so hard to be coordinated with. He gets such a good run off the top shelf as well that it allows for these guys to just rip through and easily take up these spots further up the road. Oh, look out. Big crash, middle of the pack. Musati, Lamp, Green, Morton, all going around towards the back end. Spencer Ray collected as well. Caution with less than 10 to go. And this looks set to almost push us here into overtime. Take a look at the replay, and this looks like Lamp tried to pass Rincon. Rincon came up to block. Hooks up a whole bunch of drivers, and that sends just about everybody spinning around, and a big mess. Grant Peterson was spun around in the midst of all of that, and that's, again, just going for the wrong place, the wrong time. I mean, Rincon, he tried to block. I mean, there's no two ways about it. That is exactly what Rincon tried to do, and it did not work out at all. That play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's what I have to say to that, and that was definitely one of those situations. We'll back this up a little bit further to get a proper look at this one here. This is coming off of right here. Watch this. Lamp goes up, and, I mean, Rincon just blocks. I mean, that's all there is to say about that one. I mean, he literally just came up and blocked him. There's no ifs or buts about it. We'll ride on board as well with Scott Lamp here. Who will give us a look at this. I mean, it's simple, right? That's cut and dry. You don't block somebody when they're making a move like that up to the top side of the racetrack. It doesn't go your way. I mean, so many drivers, both from the fictional world and the real world, have learned that lesson the hard way. Most notably, I feel, would be Carl Edwards, 2009, when that car spun sideways trying to block Brad Keselowski coming to the checkered flag. Blocked once up high. It worked. Tried to do the same down low. Wrecked himself and Ryan Newman into the fence. Superspeedway 101. Pick your battles. And that was a battle poorly picked. When Nate Berger was saying, no, I'm trying to find myself further towards the back of the field, you are third, my friend. I think that ship has sailed at this point in time. I'm impressed that Gassion and LaFrance have been able to keep out as long as they have. I mean, they've clearly been clutching in under these cautions because they have kept it out since lap 37. They have not pitted since the stage. Of course, that does put their fuel, I think, in question when it gets around to a green-white checkered finish. There you see Josh Small getting the lucky dog free pass as he'll overtake around the outside of the racetrack. My, oh my, what a night it has been. So Gassion and LaFrance remain the top two. Brooker third, Best fourth, the rookie. McDougall is fifth. Brooker continues to be the driver with the most spots gained so far all day long. He is up 18 spots. We're starting this race down in 21st. The only driver to have gained enough spots to be in the double digits would be this driver right back here in that number 68, Chris Campbell. He is up 13. Started this race dead last. Although Chris Campbell, despite all of those efforts, is still running in 11th. So a good ways back. Pit strategy-wise, the only two that I'm actually a bit worried about on fuel would be Gassion LaFrance, obviously we mentioned before. Josh McDougall also has not pitted since the stage at lap 37. Lap 47, we saw Frank Flores and Kyle Green both hit pit road. So they might be the only other two that I would be raising an eye at. The other drivers, though, they're effectively in the good. They've all been pitting either from lap effectively 52 onwards. And at that point, you're pretty much good to go. No problems. But, I mean, excuse me, a 100% fuel run here, and you're looking at, what, about 40-ish laps, give or take, 40 to 45? Gassion and LaFrance will be they're in the high 30s now, so they're reaching the end of the lifespan on those tanks. Now, again, I think they're fine to the end of this race, but if we go into overtime, well, I don't know if we're so safe on fuel anymore all of a sudden. So we are 1 lap to go. 4-lap dash to decide it all. Place your bets. Are we going to be into this race in overtime, or are we finishing under regulation? My money's on overtime. Given the fact that we are at the close of now yellow flag number 9. Again, Daytona had 10, if I'm remembering correctly. So that is kind of the what we're hitting at. And remember, these races are about the same in length. So we're trying not to have more than Daytona. Sorry, Daytona had 8. So we have surpassed the number of cautions that we had at the Daytona International Speedway. And despite all of that, we've still got 20 cars on the racetrack. And all on the lead lap. All with an equal chance to go for a win. Pace cars off. 4 laps to go as we will enter the tri-oval. And into the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Conor LaFrance immediately jumps down to link up with Gassion. But that gives Spencer Best momentum he needs to try to pull a clear for the lead. If he can get in there with Holden McGill, he might have a chance, but they will not link up. Allow Eastern Stars Motorsports to push back to the front. Three to go, this time by, here we go, 3 wide for the lead. Down the front straightaway and into the tri-oval, now 4 wide as we approach turn number 1. 3 abreast for the lead, 4 wide mid-pack, LaFrance gets swallowed, Gassion stays up in front, and all of a sudden Eastern Stars Motorsports may as well be a different zip code from another when it comes to trying to help each other. And all of a sudden, this isn't looking like it might be an ASM win anymore. Grant Peterson up to the top shelf. Gassion keeps it pinned down on the bottom. Small rebounds off the wall on the backstretch. We keep it green. Still working down in the turn numbers 3 and 4. Holden McGill runs in that middle groove, trying to see if he can maintain some momentum. Peterson jumps to the middle line. Time quickly running out. Less than 5 miles to go. We take 2 to go. Now Grant Peterson pushed by teammate from Badger Racing, Holden McGill. trying to go to the point. Whoa, a big bobble though as Spencer Best trying to get to the back bumper. It didn't work. And now McDougall spins down low. The over rebound just keeps it out of the inside wall. No caution though. Single car spin will keep this thing green. Holden McGill trying to keep himself rolling. He jumps to the bottom with Spencer Best. A lot of bobbing going on in the background, but McGill's taking the lead away from LaFrance. And Gassion working around towards the white flag this time by as we will enter the restart zone for the final time. 2 laps left to go. Spencer Best going for the lead. We take the white flag. We're on regulation. Connor LaFrance up at the top shove. He's going to steam around the top and take the lead away after a shove from Nate Brooker. Less than a lap to go. Spencer Best pushing Connor LaFrance down the back straightaway. Frank Flores bobbles out from the back end as, oh boy, everything's stacking up now down on the inside of the racetrack. LaFrance still pushed by Best as we work into turn numbers 3 and 4. Brooker and Peterson right behind. It's about an 8-car breakaway. We work out turn number 4. We're crashing out of turn number 4. 2 different places. LaFrance trying to keep Best behind. Best looking high, looking low. LaFrance blocking everywhere. A bump and run, and Spencer Best steals the race win as he dumps Connor LaFrance for the win of the race coming across the start-finish line. Spencer Best will take his first win in his first ever Cup Series start after he will dump Connor LaFrance for the win in the tri-oval coming to the checkered flag. Oh boy, that is going to be looked at heavily post-race, but goodness gracious. Huge win for Spencer Best coming up from what used to be the Truck Series that the L-TAC Race League ran for about half a season. As that number 19 Toyota Camry will sweep home after cleaning out the 7, taking his first win in his rookie start. And he will now get sent to burn it down on the front stretch. Boy, what a hectic end to this race. Let's take a look back on what happened, and we'll start this one. This was all... Well, we'll start this one a bit further back. This was all working out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Watch as Rincon got into it with Scott Lamb. They got hooked hard into the outside wall. Right there, you saw Frank Flores getting turned up into the wall, and a bit further up the road, there was some more contact as well just down the way that caused a lot of scrambling to be done here. And this one's all, it was Kyle Green, our lucky draw driver that got hooked hard into the outside wall, courtesy of Nate Brooker. And then all the while, Spencer Best turning Connor LaFrance in his bid to try to take that checkered flag. And this is absolutely huge here, right? Because, LaFrance was blocking. There's no doubt about that. Spencer Best, I think, had enough. He went bottom and he wasn't lifting. Gets into the back of LaFrance and just spins that 7 out. And that allows for Spencer Best to come home and take that race win in style as LaFrance crashed across the start-finish line. Oh boy! Well, that is a wild way to close out racing action tonight. And with all of that said and done, we'll be able to take a rundown of your official post-race results here today from the Talladega Superspeedway, where Spencer Best takes his race win over Connor LaFrance, will finish runner-up. Grant Peterson is in 3rd. Austin Gassion is down in 4th. Bear Morton was in 5th with Holden McGill in 6th. Devin Pirog, Chris Campbell, Stefan Purcell, and Anthony Musati round out the top 10. Brian Huntley Jr. is in 11th with Justin Wilson in 12th. Nate Brooker is 13th. Josh Small 14th. And Bradford rounds out the top 15. From there, moving on down through this field, you've got the likes of Kyle Green, Frank Flores, Scott Lamb, George Rincon, Josh McDougall, Spencer Ray, Sean Deal, Matt Cherry, Ryan Dingler will round out your 24-car field with Nathan Christensen, not opting to make the race start here in this one. But wow. I mean, just wow. There was a lot to unpack there indeed, and we will get the chance to unpack that with all of the drivers here at the end of the night, and we will, of course, look to kick things off with the driver that comes home as a race winner here at the end of the night. It is Spencer Best who will join us up here in the broadcast booth, and well, Spencer, it is a race win, but boy, what the circumstances were to take that one. It's going to be in the win that no doubt will be looked at, but Connor LaFrance turn for the win. Walk us through that final lap coming off of turn number 4.
Well, I mean, it's the last lap. I'm honestly try anything I can do to win, but I obviously didn't want it to be as dirty as it was. But I was just trying to get him a little out of shape. I didn't mean to turn him or whatever. I wouldn't have been angry if we would have banged doors to the finish line, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Now, that is indeed the case here, it seemed. Obviously, though, it's a big win for you. I mean, you enter this race, it is your maiden start, and you come home and follow it up with a race win. Now, granted, it's a Superspeedway race. Chances are a lot higher here than in any other place for anybody to take a race win. But it's a big deal, right, to take that first win and prove that you have what it takes to get up there with some of the big dogs in the series. What's going to be the game plan for that number 19 car moving forward?
I'm gonna just try and race a little more respectful next time, obviously, because racing with respect is a big thing for me. I don't like racing dirty because, I wouldn't like people to do it to me, but, super speedway racing, it's super fast, things can happen quickly, and unfortunately, Connor and I just tangled together a little too much, and it ended up in him finishing second, spinning out, getting wrecked after the final lap, and I hate that for him, but yeah, I'm gonna just keep on trucking, keep use this win as a little bit of drive for the rest of the season. I know I'm definitely not in it for the championship this season yet, but hopefully I'll make it to the end of this season, get some good experience, and maybe go run for a championship next season.
We look forward to North Wilkesboro Speedway coming on up 1 week from now. It is one of the most unique short tracks you can find out there in the States. What's going to be the game plan when we swing back to North Carolina?
I feel like I'm pretty good at short tracks generally. North Wilkesboro is kind of a struggle for me. I could never really figure out that track, but I'll make sure to get in some practice laps throughout the weekend and throughout next week, and maybe be able to pull off something there, but I'm just looking for good finishes. I mean, this is obviously winning your first race is, quite something to be proud of, but yeah, just looking for good finishes from here on out.
Thank you for joining us up here, Spencer. Congratulations on taking that first win in your first ever start, and we'll see if you can follow it up with a back-to-back when we go racing next week at North Wilkesboro.
All right, thank you, sir.
Now, Spencer Best joining us up here from Victory Lane. We'll move on down to see if we can't get in touch with Connor LaFrance, the driver that finishes this race in I'd imagine, a very disappointing second place for the driver of that number 7 car. It is Connor LaFrance joining us up here in the broadcast booth. And, well, Connor, before we address the elephant in the room, I want to just address something else. Obviously, it's such a teammate-filled race, and I know a lot of the ESM crew wasn't out in force like they were at Daytona. But still, I mean, the strategy you and Austin had in order to maintain that lead for so long was really impressive. Talk to the fuel strategy, though. Without having to pit from lap 37, was fuel ever a concern?
No, I think at the end of it, I think me and Austin were like 2 or 3 in the good. So we were fine after the stage.
And now, of course, it's down to that white flag lap where all bets are off. 3 separate crashes on that final lap coming off of turn 4. 1 further in the back, 1 to the end of your train, and then the third one, well, you know what the third one was.
Mm-hmm.
It was when you got punted around for the win. What happened from your perspective there on that final lap in the Tri-Oval?
I don't know, coming to the white, I think we went 3 wide. I blocked somebody, and I got a big run. I don't know where Austin was. I wish Austin was near me, so we might have had a chance there. But no, with who was I racing at the end?
That would have been Spencer Best.
Yeah, no, me and him we were racing good all race. I'm not mad at him at all. No, that was pretty fun. So we're good.
Looking forward, obviously, to North Wilkesboro. It's we go from one of the fastest tracks to one of the slowest tracks on the schedule. It's a very unique short track. What's going to be the game plan for that number 7 car when we roll down to North Carolina?
Oof, I don't know yet. We'll have to figure that one out. So I have also never driven the next gen cars on this track. I've driven the Gen 6. I was pretty good in the Gen 6, so we'll see about this one.
Well, thank you for joining us up here in the broadcast booth, Connor. Congratulations on that second place finish, regardless of how it came about, and we'll see if it'll be one better next week at North Wilkesboro.
Thank you, man. Later.
That's Connor LaFrance joining us up from the number 2 spot on the podium. We'll move on down to the third and final driver. We spoke to him earlier in the race, and we'll get the chance to speak to him again. It is Grant Peterson taking it up in third. And, well, Grant, you had a front row seat to much of that carnage on the final lap. Walk us through it.
Where do I start? There was a lot of nothingness in front of me at times, and then there was a whole lot of somethingness in front of me, a lot of it. I tried to do the best I could. I knew Holden, he was down under power, so him out there helping me didn't really help me out quite a bit, and then he kind of left me out to dry on the back stretch with like 2 to go, but he said we're going to get ran over there, so we're fine there. But yeah, chaos, trying to make moves when people are there. That's why I love these things, man. It's you're all out and you're just racing. It's who can manipulate the air, who knows how to drag cars back, how to push, how to do whatever they need to do to get up to the front.
You mentioned when we spoke to you earlier on about how you were anticipating there would be more cautions in this race, and well, considering we got about 3 more since we spoke to you, that statement definitely rings true. Did that at all help your strategy throughout the course of the night?
Actually, yes. I had like 10 laps of fuel left after that stage, so the cautions definitely helped me get back into competition there, get me up there towards the front for sure. So I think might as well head to Vegas now since I was able to figure that one out. Well,
I mean, Vegas is obviously on the table, but we've already been there this season. It's North Wilkesboro next. I obviously understand it's a very historic short track, but one where strategy gambling could very well come into play as well, with what no doubt might be a caution-filled race there as well next week. What's going to be the plan?
Same plan as it was last time I was there. I wasn't that good. Strategy got me up to the front, bump and run on Matt Rucci on the last lap. Took that checker flag, only leading about 250 feet. Same game plan next week.
Well, they say the only lap you really have to lead is the last one. You don't even have to lead all of it. You just have to get about an inch in front by the time you get to that checkered flag. We'll see if it'll be the same story next week. For now, congratulations on that 3rd place finish.
Thank you.
That was Grant Peterson joining us up here from the broadcast booth. And with that is going to be it for our coverage here tonight. Again, what an absolutely barn burner of an event we have had over here from the Talladega Superspeedway, as it so often is. When we go racing next week, it'll be, of course, down to the North Wilkesboro Speedway. There, we'll be seeing these guys duke it out as we get down and dirty for some good old-fashioned short track racing. We'll be set to see you all then. Be sure to check out the TNGGIL Superspeedway Blitz tomorrow night, when we'll go racing down in Atlanta, Georgia at the Atlanta Motor Speedway for race number 3 with some good old Truck Series racing action. My name is Noel Rambo. Thank you for joining us on Green Flag TV. We'll see you all next time when we go racing in North Carolina.